everyone, and welcome along to round 4 of this United Racing Championship season for the Baku Grand Prix here in Azerbaijan, in the heart of, well, Baku, and just to the side of us you have the Caspian Sea ever present, which always makes the windy conditions around this circuit something to behold. We won't see anything maybe of like that sort of magnitude here this evening, but we'll certainly see some manic sort of action, I'm sure. Baku always plays host to some pretty mad races. The 2019 Baku edition was one of those occasions where it didn't really fulfil all expectations, and unfortunately, unfortunately for some, it was rather. Well, it was the site of the Mercedes 1-2 with Hamilton, with Bottas beating Hamilton, should I say, and Sebastian Vettel coming home third on that particular occasion. What will these guys conjure up for us this evening? And join me in the commentary box to hopefully find out what these guys are able to achieve is Dom or Rapids. And how are we doing this evening?
Pretty good, mate. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back commentating on URC. It's been a long time since I last done a race for these boys, so looking forward to it. And as you mentioned, Baku, one of those races which causes a lot of drama, and I don't think we're guaranteed to have all 18 people finish the race, because it's a pretty close one in terms of the barriers. It's so easy to make a mistake, and there's little margin for error. But going to be interesting, I think, tonight, James.
Absolutely. Well, Baku's technically lost its 100% safety car record from the 2019 Grand Prix. We may see a safety car here this evening, and there's definitely a big chance of that on the opening lap. Lap 1, that is always the way around this street circuit. Also, 1.3 miles from the final corner to the run-ups of the line, and you're flat out pretty much for the entirety of the final sector. You barely lift off the throttle. It's sight to behold. I am sure turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3, all 90-degree corners, as well as turn 4, but it gets a bit more twisty and turny as we go through the infield section, really, of this Baku City circuit. And well, the championship is anything to go by. MGX Joe is doing something to really mount a charge. He's won the first 2 Grand Prix, all 3. It's one of the 2. It's been a while since we've actually done a race in URC, but Joe is leading the championship at this stage of proceedings. The first 2 wins definitely went to Joe through penalties of other drivers. So just how well has Joe done this year, Dom? If you know anything, really, if you've been catching up with the URC, then you'll know how quick just Joe is.
He is one of the informed drivers on this game right now, isn't he? I mean, he's been doing superb in pretty much every league he's touched, and yeah, he's on it, really. 3 wins from 3. He's looking to make it 4 out of 4, and I wouldn't put it much past him. I think it's definitely possible, but behind you've got people who are capable of doing so as well. But at the moment, it's looking pretty strong, because he is one of the fastest guys out there, and if he continues the form that he's on, he will be taking himself and Team ILR Black to the top. But one of his teammates, Terra Limitless, isn't here tonight, so in terms of extending the championship lead in the constructors anyway, it might not be all that easy, because JD isn't here tonight. So, but he'll be trying to do what he can to score maximum points for ILR Black.
Absolutely right, he will be. I think he didn't have the greatest qualifying in China. I think he only started 13th. He didn't have a in the office there. Anyway, there's only one on laps. Zero's just gone fast as full, sorry, with a 37.9. That's a quick time. A lot of people may be doing slightly different strategies around here. There's a number of different tyres these guys can decide to go on. I've heard that it's not a simple strat in the sense that, yeah, you will definitely start on the ultra soft tyres. You can definitely ride your luck on the softs, or the ultra softs I should say. They are quite equal. The DRS around here means it's a bit easier on both sets of compounds, but I'm sure most drivers would look to opt to go onto the ultra softs in their particular run. So interesting to see how that will all fare. Joe then stops himself into 3rd place behind top Tom at the moment in the Williams. Not a bad lap from him, has to be said. Good lap from him. Let's ride on board with OMGS Joe and just take us through the best part of this lap. I'm sure he may not be completed it, Dom, but we may as well see what he's like.
Yeah, we go heading into a very hard braking zone here. We're going to brake sort of at the 100-meter board, down into third gear, turns it in nicely. And he's not really pushing this lap. You can sort of see the way they're driving the car. He's been very calm and careful in the steering. Up a second, really stripping the wall on the left-hand side. And now in this very tight, almost chicane-like section, got to be very patient to get the best exit possible. He flicks it in first gear and gets a good exit out of the corner, so pretty good stuff. Now this double right-hander, in real life we've seen a lot of incidents involving a certain Nico Hulkenberg, but he's navigated through there pretty nicely. And now this challenging castle section, up we go. It's all pretty tricky. Keeps it in third gear, needs to be very patient with the power. Gets a decent exit, and now we're on to this fast run. We go left, sweeps left. Flat out in these cars, and then into this heavy braking zone. You can't see it initially, it's blind. There's the apex, turns it in nicely in third gear, riding almost the wall on the right hand side. And now into the last proper corner, I think we'll say. Everything else after this is flat out. Not too bad, a little bit understeer, but it gets an alright exit otherwise. And now through these swooping lefts and then the rights, and then we're just using all the power from the car as much as possible as we go down. But he won't be using too much because obviously that ERS is running out. So let's see where this puts Joe. And here he comes across the line. It's a 1:37.754, so that's top for Joe. So a pretty good lap, but again, probably at the moment they're probably just feeling their way around the circuit at the moment. And James, have you disconnected from the race, the session?
Jump back.
Okay. But at this point, a lot of the guys will be just trying to get a feel of the circuit. The circuit won't be completely rubbered in, and you probably find we've seen multiple laps being done by pretty much everybody out there, to be honest. Syro was on a runway, he was doing loads of laps consecutively, so I think at the moment it's just all about getting a feel for the track, and that is basically what they'll be doing at the moment, in the moment of time. But looking at everybody else, everybody's sort of coming into the pit lane, doing their final runs in the session. And basically just trying to get a feel for the track as it rubbers in. The last 5 minutes will be hectic like it is for any other league. So we'll see probably track conditions get better. Whether we'll see people switch over to the ultra softs, I'm not sure. I think people might favour that super soft because it gives them the option to do the potential one stop, I'd feel. But if I don't know my stuff, but I'd assume that would be the strategy. As Danny's hit that inside wall there of the chicane. So it's not good, but I think he's on an outlap anyway. He's not really on a fast one here.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, Dom, actually. Most guys will try on the super softs. I completely forgot that was even a tyre, I'll be honest, around this circuit. So it's probably the best idea for them. Just so they've got that optimum tyre wear. I suppose some will decide to go for the ultra softs, as I say. There's a bit of a difference on the wear side for obvious reasons, but you may just decide that it might be the best option in the short term around Baku to go on the ultra softs, because of the chance of the safety car, then actually I don't know what I would do. Possibly just go for the supers just so I'm safe in the event that the safety car doesn't come out. I would never ever base my strategy on a safety car. That is very risky indeed, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think we're seeing Tom out there right now. He's on the ultra soft, and I think he's going for a quick lap here, so we'll keep on board with him and see if he improves. Yellows into 2, I wonder what those are for, but this cleared quickly. Now through the last proper corner, he's gone very deep on the brakes, so we can see this probably won't be an improvement, and he might have actually invalidated his lap time by going off the circuit. That's how strict the track limits are on this game. Now top Tom. It's a flat-out run to the end. I don't expect this to be a massive improvement. It'll probably be around where Joe and Cyro's done on those super. Like he comes into the pit lane. So again, you will see a lot of people just do this, where they'll just go out anyway, try the ultra soft, and then come back in and change the set of tyres they're on. Leper's out there on a set of ultra soft as well, so we'll probably see him do the same sort of thing. Go out there and just do one lap, and then come back in. Anybody else? KJ Gamer's out there, but he's not on a fast lap at the moment. And Verstappen Verstappen's done like 4 laps, no soft, so he'll be coming in for a new set soon. Sarah Rosberg is out there. He will be going on to a lap, so let's keep on with Sarah Rosberg. And he's done 38.7, which is P9 as it stands.
Yeah, it's about second off, isn't it, at the moment? So it's not awful for Rosberg at this stage, obviously, as we say. It just needs to get that track rubbered in. Just get your feel for these tyres. I'm not too sure what the pad is like around here, but I can't imagine it's very nice. Braking after the 100 metre board, throwing the car into turn 3. Probably the first sector, I'd say, is the best place to make an overtake around here. No doubt about that. Also, you're on the full throttle, on the loud pedal, let's say, for 27 seconds, I believe it is, from one of the penultimate corners, turn 16, I believe it is. You're on flat out through that point. This part of the circuit, though, which Rosberg finds himself in now, is quite difficult. You really want to be taking a bit more cover than that on the inside through there. I think he's backed out anyway. But it's not easy, no. I think he is keeping on with it. It's very difficult to keep the car. You want to keep the car as tight as you can to all the walls, especially through that castle section. It's very difficult for them to do, but you can't allow the car to run out too wide through turn 10. You've got to keep it on tabs. And I think that's what Rosberg's done here. So let's see what the lap's like as he runs up towards the line.
That last corner, we noticed a lot of people are struggling with that last corner. It's a tricky one to get right. The braking, it's marginal because you can either brake too early and not to get a slow run out of the exit, or you can brake really late and just take as much people as possible through it. But Rosberg probably won't go on top. It'll be a 39.7, so not an improvement. But again, it lasts 5 minutes now. He probably would want to get it back into pit lane and put a set of super softs on, which I think many people are doing. Apart from Vlad Verstappen, who hasn't. He actually retired from the session, I think, so he might have had an issue. And Flying Rossi as well, down the order, he's not doing no lap either. So a lot of people kind of calling it a day. Two has to calling it a day. The top 6 all in the pits. Everybody else is in the pit lane, probably changing over to a set of tyres for the final sort of 3 minutes where the truck will be out of its absolute prime. And we can see people are trying to get ahead of the game as well. People are coming out of the pits earlier, probably just to try and get a good out lap and get a feel for things. But at the moment, nobody really out there apart from Sarah Rosberg. But Syra is out there now, so expect him to be challenging for pole because he's on a set of super softs. So that's probably going to give him the ideal strategy for the race, do the one stop, just in case there's any safety cars. KJ Gamer is also out there as well as Reynolds and Jork and ERL Rosro 33.
Absolutely. There's one man on the circuit who is going to go for the strategy I thought of, which is try to use the ultra soft to your best advantage. Smithson at the back there for TSRL in the Alfa Romeo around turn 16. You say it's a difficult corner because the curb is also quite high on the entry there as well, and also it's downhill, slightly downhill, so you're always picking up speed. Very difficult then to get the car stopped in time because of the gradient of the way the corner just naturally flows. And actually Smithson's going towards the line now. It's an ultra soft tyre, so will this be an improvement? He does back out at the last minute, so we will see others all on super soft tyres. Plenty out there on the super softs, ready to take the fight for pole.
Yeah, so I think we should keep on board with VSR Syra and see what he gets on with in the Haas. So he'll be preparing his lap. He's got 3 minutes, so he looks this one up. He has got another opportunity, but really he just wants to get this one nailed. He's weaving a lot, keeping tyre temperature as he heads into the lap. So let's ride on board with him. James, do you want to talk us through the lap on board with him?
Absolutely, let's do it. You know how quick he is on the pad, and he's prove it here. Down towards the first corner, look how much entry he takes into there, and it just completely misses it through turn 1. An exit to a lot of curve, right up against the wall as you head towards turn 2, flat out, and then down on the brakes once again, back onto the power, flat out, run down towards turn 3. Derek wide open, it's just such a good place. Really, if you can get the slipstream of another car, really take advantage. Same down the pit straight, and going about 3 or 4 tenths through there alone with the case of a slipstream through turn 4. Absolutely nails it, and then a bit of lag sends its way through turn. Once again back. Not onto the brakes. Car goes in as possibly can. Of turn 8 and doesn't want to really yield through there. You almost lift off. You don't. The castle's actually flat out. Then once again down toward the final couple. He's coming up where had that, and then taking a bit of curb on the inside through there. and 60 followers. But stay in as short as possible going to the line. If you want to be sticking over to the left-hand side of the circuit, you stay over to which will got Eddie outs him and goes pole position with a 36.8 and absolutely bits his Joe's time.
And you've gone again, seemingly, but we'll try and get yourself back in. Joe is now through the car section. He can be the other one who can take pole position away from Syra. So let's see what he can do. A 36.8 by Syra is pretty good, but I'm sure there's time in it. Joe is flying through this flat out section. He can hit the braking zone around about now on the brakes down into third gear. Turns it in early. He's going to get a good exit. He's not too close to the barriers at all. Now into the final corner. It's really important to get a good run here. And he's got an alright run here on the cub on the right hand side. A little bit wide, but he should have a decent run through these fast lefts and then the right. And now there's a flat out straight for him. Let's see what he can do as Infamous is going in second place. This should be an improvement from Joe here. He is DRS around about now, using all the power from the car as possible. Down we go. Who is it going to be pole position for? Oh my gosh, Joe. It isn't pole position at all, but he has got time to make this at the moment. He is just behind Syra at the moment, but over a tenth of a second. So he could still improve, but he'll have to be on 2 lap old softs, super soft to do that. Pinecone, he's in third place. Holland's out there currently as well. Danny's done enough. Infamous is still on a lap. Let's see what he can do. So this is going to be his second lap on those super stuff. So you never know. It might be an improvement for the Haas driver. Let's keep on board with him. Nah, he's settled down. He's backed out of that, so he ain't going faster. Leopard might be somebody else to look out for as well. Let's see how he's getting on. He's through these fast lefts, so he could be another one to challenge for the top positions. Again, rise it big time on that cub. It's such a tricky corner, and then the last proper corner anyway. Syra has pitted, so he's called it a day. He isn't going again, so let's see if anybody else behind him can improve. Leopard's now through these fast sections. KJ Gomez retired from the session as well, and he's currently, where is he, in 14th place. So Leopard, can he improve on his current P11 at the moment? He's hit the DRS. Let's see where it's going to be for Leopard. Here he comes across the line. It's a 37.0, and that's only P4, so it's actually a Ferrari 3 and 4. But I think that's pretty much everybody, and Sepp got Holland out there at the moment as well. He could improve. Let's see what he can do in the Red Bull. He's currently P9. It's a long run down here, so let's see. But I don't think he's actually going to improve, actually. He's actually on an outlap. My apologies. So he's coming back to get back into the pits. And that will be it for qualifying. And I'm afraid James has left the party, so I don't know if he's actually going to be back. He might be resetting his internet, so it might be me who starts this this race. That is it for qualifying. We'll run through the classification, and then we'll get this race underway. There you go, that's qualifying done for you. And it's VSR Syra who takes on pole position for round 4 of the season, ahead of Oh My God, it's Joe in second place, CRG Pinecone in third, LCR Leopard in fourth, Top Tom in 53 in fifth, Sarah Rosberg in sixth, 7th for CRG A Morso, 8th for EVR Reynolds, 9th for CRGA Holland, 10th for VSS Infamous, 11th for Ollie 44 Smithson, 12th for Jork 94, 13th for Danny F 31, 14th for Tom Z Battlers in 14th, ERL Ros 33 in 15th, KJ Gamer in 16th, and 17th for VSS Sappen, and 18th for Flying Rozzy, bringing up the rear of the grid. That is your qualifying done and dusted. I'll try and get James back in if possible. Bear with me, boys. He might have reset his internet, potentially, but If not, you'll have to listen to me for the whole stream. Diablo. He's online. Let's see. I might have to pause the stream midway through if he wants an invite back, so we might have to go through that. Anyway, everybody will be preparing their cars, putting in their fuel for the start of the race. People outside the top 10 obviously will be selecting their tyre compounds and might go for the different strategy because they could start on the soft tyres and go on the super soft towards the end of the race, which might be the way forward. But everybody now just loading in and preparing their cars for the start of this race. And fourth race of the season, I think we're on for a cracking race here. Plenty of opportunities for overtaking around Baku. Obviously, that long straight and going into turn 1 is going to be a prime opportunity. And we probably will see quite a lot of mistakes out there as well. So here we go. Last few guys readying up and getting ready. There's a formation lap to start with, and we'll be able to get underway. Let's see if we can get some detail in terms of tyres. So yeah, we can see a lot of people actually are starting on the super soft tyres. We've got pretty much the whole top 10 and even below there, apart from Danny and KJ Gamer, Fiesta Verstappen and Flying Rosie, they're on the softs. But everybody else is on the super soft for this. A similar strategy for everybody else, apart from those 4. So you can see, I mean, if things plan out, they might even be able to get some good points on the board from their positions. But I think that top 4 is going to be interesting to watch. Syra, Joe, Pinecone and Leopard, they're all pretty rapid. So I think we'll probably have a good little battle for the win here. And I think even people outside top 5 might have an opportunity as well. The slipstream obviously around here can carry you, so it's all possible. And if these 4 potentially get in some trouble, I think it's probably anybody's game really. It's one of those circuits back here where anybody potentially could win it if they're in the right place at the right time, and we've seen that in real life as well. But it's a good qualifying for WR and LCRA. They're obviously Pinecone and Leopard both driving for that team, and they're in 3rd and 4th. So in regards to the Constructors' Championship anyway as it stands, and this ultimately is a Teams Championship, it's looking good for them in comparison to ILR Black, because obviously Limitless isn't here and Joe's on his own. So it's all pretty good here. I think it's looking pretty good for WOR to pull some points back on behind ILR. But now Cyro's weaving, getting some heat into the tyres, and preparing himself for the grid start. And we'll be able to get this one underway. And I think it's all going to be important. Turn 1 is an important opportunity as well. It is a street track after all. So anything can happen. Try and get Diablo back if possible again. Just bear with me a second. Hopefully I don't miss the race start because of it. I'll be as fast as I can. Yeah. Right, that's that. Everybody's all lining up now for the start of this race, and it's going to be an interesting turn 1. The short runs turn 1s, there's not a prime opportunity, but it's all about if you can get it off the line in time. So here we go, revving for 5 red lights for URC Xbox One 2019, round 4. And it's lights out, and away we go. And Sara gets a pretty good start ahead of the McLaren of It's Joe. But Pinecone actually has a decent start as well. The 2 Ferraris trying to get around the outside of Joe here. And you can see already Pinecone is trying to battle his way past Joe. But Joe defends really well, and Joe keeps hold of 2nd place. But Sara leads out of the first couple of corners. And Joe is in 2nd place. And he was under big pressure there between the WR boys in 3rd place. You can see Pinecone is right over the stream as Joe is weaving around a little bit off that start. He's trying to almost... he's got very deep into that corner there, and actually Pinecone's got a good run. He's looking for a way past, but unfortunately in this section of the circuit it is so tight to get any sort of move done. Now we're through into this kind of tricky left-right section now. We go through it. It's all about getting a good exit here, but in these early start part of the race, you don't want to be making a mistake because it's so earlier on in this race. But look at that, Joe looking a little bit vulnerable at the start. Not looking as confident as Syra, but that might be him just trying to bide his time. Now we're through the car section for the first time, and there's yellows at the 2, so there might be an issue for somebody out there. And Tom's Battlers actually has joined back into the race, but Pinecone looking for any opportunity on Joe here because he looks a bit faster than the McLaren driver here. Here we go, he's in the slipstream, trying his best, but this again won't be an overtaking opportunity. He'll be sizing Joe up through that last corner. That's when he'll have his best opportunity. Now through the final corner, basically the final proper corner now. Need a good exit. Joe's been a little bit deeper in comparison and actually hasn't got the best of exits. So here comes Pinecone now in the slipstream. He won't have DRS in this lap. We'll have to wait till lap 3 for that. But here comes Pinecone now in the slipstream. Look at the Ferrari as well. Let's look at Leopard behind as well. It's going to be a two-horse race here. So let's go on board. And here comes Pinecone in the slipstream of the McLaren driver. He's looking for any opportunity now as we can into turn 1. Is he going to make this move stick? Surely he can do it. He's alongside the McLaren driver and he's on the inside of the McLaren driver and it's wheel to wheel through turn 1. Who's ahead? Who is ahead? It is Joe ahead for now, and Pinecone can't get past the McLaren driver at this moment in time, and we know how tough a defender Joe is at the moment. And oh, there you go, it's actually Smithson's actually out the race. And I wonder what's happened there between himself and KJ Gamer. They're both out of this race indeed. So that's them two out. And we've said already before the stream started that anybody, and I mean anybody, it's not everybody can actually win this race. Not everybody can actually finish this race because incidents can happen around here, and it's a known fact. But at the moment, nothing can be done for second place. And Syra has absolutely just bolted away. He's gone from this pack. And Joe seemingly is struggling. I'm just wondering if he has some contact with Pinecone or Leopard off the start. It's possible. That's why he was weaving. I'm wondering if he was unhappy about a manoeuvre that happened earlier on in the first couple of corners. Because I do wonder, he's losing a bunch of time to Syra. At this point in time. But if you look down the order, look how close everybody is. There's no one's breaking away from anybody at this point. And it is all very close there. We've got Holland running in 5th place. And it's all just very bunched up. Cyril Rosberg is in 7th. He's lost a little bit of ground at the start. But Reynolds actually made some moves up here. I think he was in 9th, I think, off the start. But Joe's really wide up that final corner. So here comes Pinecone. Again, we'll have the superior exit. But we've seen, again, Joe is a fantastic defender, and even if Pinecone is touching the slipstream, it's not guaranteed. And if anything, Leopard's closer to Pinecone than Pinecone is to Joe. So let's see, again, Joe moving out of the slipstream as much as he can, and Pinecone is slipstreaming as much as he can, but it's just too far back. He can't make a move at this point. There's now Syra that's fast up the race at 41.218, so a good lap from him. He's trying to bolt as quick as he can, and he's doing a fantastic job of that. He's outside DRS already. He's looking pretty strong here for the Haas boys, and he's looking pretty strong at the moment for VSR Red. Pinecone once again trying his best. He'll have DRS on this lap, and he has got it in activity right now. But again, that second straight isn't ideal. It's a long straight, but it's quite short in regard to that final back straight. So it's not a prime opportunity. And we've seen obviously last weekend we saw the race in real life. Ricardo made a mistake into that corner. So again, it's not ideal for an overtaking opportunity, but at the moment, the top 5 are trying to bolt away a little bit, and top 4 are trying to bolt away a little bit from everybody else behind, because they have got a little bit of a gap right now. But Pinecone once again trying to find an opportunity past. Oh my God, it's Joe. At the moment, it's all about just trying to hook it all up and just trying to get a good run, and he is within DRS, so Pinecone will have a great opportunity. He's hit the wall there on the right hand side. I wonder if it's giving him damage, and you know what, I wouldn't put it past it. He's a bit of a bump there. He's definitely hit his car against that barrier, so he might start to struggle, and he's lost a little bit of ground to Joe, and that's what Joe needed, because Pinecone was putting Joe under some serious pressure, and he is understeering quite a lot actually. I think he might have damage on that Ferrari. So, let's see, Leopard now in there as a Pinecone, and I think surely Pinecone might let him have this. They're working as a team, potentially Pinecone has the damage. Joe is as fast as the race, 40.8, so maybe Joe doesn't have damage on the car, as I first thought. 1.4 seconds back from Syra. But look at this, the Ferrari boys are really close now. I mean, if Pinecone does have damage from that collision into the wall that he had just now, it might be an opportunity for Leopard to try and get past Pinecone, or Pinecone let him through if he wants a better opportunity. But once again, Pinecone closes up on Joe in the DRS. But maybe he hasn't got damage, and maybe he's in the right area in regards to not hitting it straight on, and he hasn't got the damage. It's all kind of unknown at the moment. But if he starts dropping time, then you've probably got to think for the best of the team, it might be worth them swapping positions. Anyway, looking back behind right now, Holland leads everybody from behind, so he's in 5th place ahead of Reynolds. He's a little bit further back from there, 1.2 seconds, and Top Tom in 7th place ahead of Sarah Rosberg. He's now down to 8th, so he's lost a little bit of ground as the Toro Rosso driver. It's not ideal for him. He's got more so all over the back of him. That's going to be a fight to watch, and more so we'll be trying to get past the Toro Rosso driver as fast as he can. Jork in 10th, so he's in the final points paying position as VSI Infamous is down at 11th. Let's have a look at the detail. Let's get some position change up. So we can see the movers. Holland's had a great start, and so is Reynolds, and so is Verstappen. But let's go back to our sort of top battle here between Joe, Pinecone, and Leopard. They're all pretty close in proximity. So let's see. Pinecone, half a second back from Joe now. So let's go on board with Pinecone. And he's seen the slipstream and DRS once again, but is it enough to close into turn 1? He's going to try it. Is he into turn 1? He's going to... No, he's just too far back. And he has to do the fast lap of the race, 40.864. But not much faster than Joe. And Joe doesn't have the slipstream at this point because Syra is now 1.8 in front. So again, gap has opened up and it's kind of stabilized between 1.4 and 1.8 seconds. So Syra is doing everything he needs to do in these initial five or so laps. But once again, Pinecone looking for a move on Joe, but just can't make any sort of opportunity stick at this moment of time. And Joe's doing a great job. But Baku, you know, they say it's an easy track to overtake here, and it is an easy overtaking. It is possible to overtake around here, but it's all about that long straight. And that is it, really. Everywhere else is almightily difficult. I mean, Pinecone can't get any much closer to Joe at this point. Because if he does, it could end up in the bad way. Castle section is so easy to make a mistake around here, but if Pinecone gets very close to the barriers, he's just trying to get a good exit here, and he's got an alright run, and he is breathing down Joe's neck as much as he can. Getting that toe, and then it's tricky braking zone. It's so tough to get this right. Down to 3rd gear, flicks it in nicely. And he's close to Joe. He's 4/10 behind him. Needs a good exit for this last corner. Joe again running it so wide there. And he must be careful not to pick up any warnings. But Pinecone has got a good run here in comparison. So this is a prime opportunity now in the slipstream. Going to hit the DRS and using the ERS. DRS activated, and he might even get past him before the DRS. If possible, he will do. He'll get the DRS and will be past him way before the DRS. And Pinecone is in the 2nd place ahead of Stuart McCall. That's Joe for now. But Joe might look for his opportunity on the inside. Is he going to go for it? No, he's just too far back. But Pinecone does look into turn 1. So Joe, if he gets a good run through turn 2, it might be possible for him to get past Pinecone again. There he goes. Gets an alright run now in the slipstream using the DRS as well. Is he closing enough? But it's just not long. It's not a long enough straight to get past here, so he won't look for a move. And for now, look at these three. They're all bunched up. They're all battling away for 2nd and 3rd. It's all very close, and behind they're dropping. I mean, they are dropping Holland in 5th place pretty quickly indeed. So looking like that, yeah, they've got the pace to be with each other, and there's not really one of them that are holding each other up. But whilst these three are battling away, Syra has bolted. It's 2.6 the gap, and he's absolutely dominating things at the moment. He's dominating proceedings right now as it stands. But if we go back behind the order, I mean, more so has made a move on Rosberg, who's under pressure now. Yellow sits at the 2. I wonder who's that for. Is that? I've just seen a car in the wall, and it is Leopard. Leopard's in the wall. He's out of this race. It's the castle section as well. I mentioned it earlier. That car section is so tricky, and he's managed to get it out of the wall. And has he got damage? He's got a bit of end plate damage to that Ferrari, but that's the worst case scenario. And it was looking so good for WRR and LCR because they're looking to score some very good points. It is now Reynolds gets a 5-second stop and go penalty for extending track limits. So that's big time, unfortunately for him. But Leopard, unfortunately, is out of the points at the moment, but he isn't out of things yet. Safety cars are possible round here, and it's not over yet as now Joe pits in looking for the undercut on CRG Pinecone. So it's all about this, but can he really get a 2 points? You know, he's really looking at a second undercut on Pinecone here. But let's go with everybody else on the circuit. And look at this. More so is being... I mean, he's being chased by Rosberg. So really, he hasn't bottled away from Rosberg as he's struggling with understeer seemingly in that Toro Rosso. He is on the pad after all, but Cyro's doing some absolute wonders on the pad. Jork is trying to size up Sarah Rosberg as well. And he's, again, just staying behind. At this moment in time, he's just a train, really. He has no opportunity to get past. And if you do try it, I mean, one of you is going into the wall, really. Now through the chicane once again. Everything's all very tight and everybody's buying time. The top, obviously at the moment, top 4, it's all pretty spaced out. So our main battle really is from 6th onwards because Morto's leading that group behind. Reynolds obviously is in 4th. He's doing a superb job as well. But look at this. It's all very tight now. And Rosberg's just, again, he's lost a bit of time. I think he's struggling in the castle section a little bit because everybody else has been able to maneuver their car a little bit better, and seemingly he's not been able to do so. Now, final proper corner again. It's all about the exit. And Sarah Rosberg might have his opportunity on more so. It is 7/10, and once you get kind of after half a second, it makes it a little bit harder because it isn't easy into turn 1. You've got to really go for it, as now Cyra's pitted, and CRG Pinecone continues on for now. So here comes Cyra into the pits. Puts on a set of soft tyres, and away he goes. Let's see where he comes out in regards to Joe. Out of the pit exit. So where's Joe? He's coming down. So I think Cyra's okay. Yeah, he'll be okay. He's in front comfortably. So Cyra, not a victim of the undercut at all, and he's on his merry way. 18 more laps on those soft tyres, and I'm sure he can make it to the end on that set. So he's doing a very good job right now, and things are looking pretty good for the VSR driver, and he's doing bits really for them. Looking at the order, I mean, Rosberg again hounding Morso. Morso hasn't been able to. Yeah, he hasn't been able to get away, really. Rosberg seemingly keeping him honest, and if you make a mistake, Rosberg's going to be right on him here. Again, through the double right-hander, very tricky corners here. And Danny's right behind Infamous as well. That's one battle to watch too. Again, car selection here. Sarah Rosberg just loses a bunch of time. So again, he's close, but he's not close enough. He loses a bunch of time in that second sector, and particularly the castle section, so he's not gaining at all. Let's go back with Morso and see what he's doing with Top Tom. So he's in the toe of the Williams driver. And Top Tom races for FORL. So here comes Morso in the slipstream. Let's see what he can do. He's a little bit far back, but Top Tom pits and Morso continues for now. So Top Tom pitting. Pinecone, though, has stayed out. So he's going to be a major threat to the undercut. But at this moment in time, he's going to have very fresh, soft tyres for the end of the race. So it might be good. But, I mean, meanwhile, at the moment, Cyra's going to be stretching that gap. And then Joe will have the undercut. So it's, Pinecone can do this all he wants, but it depends. You have to be really ballsy towards the end of the race. And we've seen already how tricky it is to overtake round here, because it's not that easy. The only opportunity is that back straight. Other than that, there's not an opportunity. But once again, everybody's kind of in their own space. The tightest battle we have on circuit right now is Sarah Rosberg and CRGA more so. Behind, we've got Jork and Top Tom. I think Jork pitted earlier than Top Tom. He probably did. So he's got the undercut on him. So he'll be close to him as well. And obviously, meanwhile, Top Tom will be trying to warm his tyres up. But there's yellows in sector 1 again. I wonder who that is. And is that VSR Verstappen? It is VSR Verstappen. He's made a major mistake at the, I want to call it the Ricardo corner from this weekend, because he's made a massive cock up of it. And he's down in 13th. So VSR Verstappen, unfortunately, has made a bit of a boo-boo there, and he hasn't been able to. He was in an alright position at that point before that mistake, but at the moment, Pinecone stays out. And does he pit? He doesn't pit, so he continues on for yet another lap. But remember, Colin's doing the same strategy. So is Morso, so is Rosberg. They all haven't pitted yet. That top 4, and actually now Rosberg and more so do pit, and Holland stays out. So those 2 are yet to pit, but everybody else has pitted at this point. But it'll be interesting to see how things all shape up, because at the moment it's all looking pretty good. Cyrus now into third place. And he's just behind Holland, so he's actually 7.2 behind Holland, so he's alright, he won't be blocked. But it is going to be fascinating, this end of the race, because Pinecone will have the freshest set of tyres by at least 3 laps on the other 2 ahead of him. So it is going to be interesting to see where he comes out. And you never know, he might actually get the overcut if things all plan out. Depending on how well, if Joe and Cyrus navigate through traffic, he might even have got the overcut done. But, oh, he's so close to that barrier on the right-hand side. You're flirting with that, and if you flirt with that too much, we saw it earlier with his own teammate, Leopard, it can result in you spinning out that section and causing you to lose lots of time, so he really doesn't want to be doing that too often, and I'm wondering if those slope softs have kind of just finished at this point. So Pinecone through this final upper corner before these flat out kind of left-rights. Let's see what he does here. He's surely going to have to pit. He doesn't want to lose too much ground. So here he comes. Down this back straight once again. Is he pitting? Yes, he does. Surely. Yeah, here he comes into pit lane. So Pinecone pits it in. And let's see. Stops on the marks perfectly. And into the box he comes. Ferrari will serve him on a set of soft tyres. And away he goes for the number 96 Ferrari. And let's see where he comes up. Syra across the line, fast up a race, 40.6. So let's see. Pinecone is on the pit end exit. Where's Joe? Joe is behind Pinecone. So actually, Pinecone is back in the position he was before. That's brilliant stuff from Pinecone. He's actually in front of Joe. So that's worked out pretty well. Now, I didn't see Joe stop. I wonder if Joe has damage. I mentioned earlier, he looked like he was slower earlier on in the race. I don't know if he had to pit for a new front wing. He might have had to, but at this point, Pinecone is vulnerable because their softs won't be in their peak operating temperature, so Joe's tyres will be in comparison. So Joe, if he wants to attack Pinecone right now, this is the prime time. And they have got Danny F31 in front of them, who I think hasn't pitted. He's been on the alternate strategy. So this is facing it up to be interesting. Now, Joe, I mean, he'll have DRS on Pinecone, but Pinecone, if he can close up quickly on Danny, he might have DRS on Danny, and that might kind of alleviate any kind of gain that Joe makes. So really, Joe is hoping that Pinecone doesn't catch Danny too quickly, but at the moment, he might do. But it's quite a big ask. Look at Joe, he's hounding the back of the Ferrari, so he's looking pretty quick here. Let's see. And Gabby is now 9/10, so Danny might have the DRS now, Pinecone, on Danny in front of him. And Danny will continue a little bit longer. He has to do probably around about 18 laps on those softs at least. And then pop on the super soft for the end of the race. So Pinecone now in the slipstream of Danny. And Danny probably won't hold him up too much. But look at behind. Look at Joe have a double toe as well. But I don't think he gained too much in the double toe. And he isn't gaining that much, but he is gaining. He's gaining and gaining and gaining into turn 1. Goes for it at turn 1. Is he? He's tried it and he's on the inside. They bang wheels a little bit and Joe has to back out of that a little bit. Pinecone's on the right hand side. Joe is going to be on the inside. And at the moment, it's wheel to wheel between the two of them. But Joe will have the DRS on Pinecone now. So let's see what Pinecone does. Did he defend on the inside? He might have a look on the inside. Here comes Joe. No, he's too far back. So Pinecone keeps in front for now ahead of Joe. And the gap is 3/10. But this is going to be a great old battle. But meanwhile, Syra is 5.3 ahead and he's gone. He's controlled this race from start to finish and is doing an absolute solid job of things. And it's looking like it's going to be a hard task for anybody to beat this guy. And even, I mean, Pinecone has got fresher tyres. He might have the opportunity towards the end of the race, potentially. But Syra is just looking in a league of his own at the moment. And it is nothing that Joe and Pinecone can do anything about it yet. And it's going to be all about what next. Behind, Top Tom and Jork are all pretty close together. And Sarah Rosberg's there as well. And again, more so as well. So these four are battling away for 6th place, seemingly. And it's a bit of a gap because we've got CRGA more so and Holland. They're separated by sort of 4.3 seconds. And CRGA looking for a good result here, I think. They're racing for, both CRGA boys are racing for WR LCRB. So one of the CRG team, so one of the WR LCR teams are going to be doing a good job today. Going to score some good double points, but unfortunately, I mean, the other one, LCR Leopard and CRG Pinecone, who race for the WR LCR A team, won't get double points that they were looking like they were going to get earlier. But let's get back with Joe, who's right behind Pinecone and just doesn't get the move done to turn 1. He's so close into that turn 1, and it can be so easy to misjudge your braking zone at that point, but he's flirting with it, and he's putting Pinecone under some immense pressure. But they are catching Syra. The gap's under 4.9. It was 5.3, 5.4 earlier, so the lap before. So they've caught him up by half a second, and you know, it's not out of the woods yet. And Joe's been dragged along by Pinecone at this point. The slipstream is keeping him in with Pinecone, and as Pinecone's catching Syra, so is Joe at the same time. So this is going to be a titanic end potentially, because if they continue to close, we might have a 3-race scrap for the race win here. Again, looking down the order, if you look at CRGA more so, and Sarah Rosberg and Top Tom and Jork, they're all in that group that battle for 6th place, 4 of them going for it. And there's 4 of those boys just going for it, ham and tongue, for the last 30 laps. We're halfway through this race, and it's been a pretty interesting one, pretty intriguing. Not many incidences. We've only had, obviously, Smithson and KJ Gamer go out, and we've seen Leopard also go out, and obviously it's been out of the chicane, but he's still running right now, and he's trying to do anything he can to kind of see some points. But obviously at that point, you know, it's such a competitive grid that it is pretty tricky to recover at that point, because everybody else is at such a level where they're just so quick. As Verstappen retires from the session, so he's gone for whatever reason. He obviously went deep earlier on, and that has been a safety car deployed. So here we are, safety car's being deployed, and if anything, that plays into Danny F31's hands, because whilst everybody else is travelling around that low speed, he can pit in and put on a set of tyres, and this might work out properly for him. He's into the pit lane. This might be a fantastic opportunity for the 14 driver. Who else is in the pit lane? It's actually, is that Joe? Joe's in as well. Set of super soft for him. So he's taking an absolute wild bet here and just going all for it. He's being held away. It's a glitch. So he's released in 8th place on a set of super softs, and Danny as well is gone in the pit lane. Who else? Aaron Reynolds is in as well. So everybody, those 3 are taking an absolute opportunity and a risk at this point, going, you know what, let's risk it for a biscuit, and let's put on the softest compound tyres possible. And now Leopard's in as well, so this is going to work out fantastically for Leopard, because he was so far back after that spin at the custom section, and he's going to be right behind and within the pack. So there's going to be potentially a recovery drive is possible for some good points for LCR Leopard for WOR LCRA. So that's safety car deployed. I'm going to try and see if I can get Diablo back, if possible, whilst the safety car's in. I hope you guys are enjoying this great stream so far. I'm trying my best on my own. Try and get Diablo in. Just bear with me a moment. He's not online, but he might be just rebooting, because he's doing the... he's doing another race later on. He might be trying to reboot his internet, but I'll try and message James as possible. See if I can get him in. But Syra's going to be a little bit disappointed, I think, because he built up a gap. It was sort of around 5 seconds, and you know, he looked pretty strong, but now that gap's completely deceased. And Baku is one of those tracks the safety car can really play into people's hands, and if anything, it might play into Pinecone's hands here, because he's got fresher tyres. Again, Holland's going to play into Holland's hands, got a great opportunity as well. So it's all pretty possible at this point for everybody else. Let me try and get... Let's message Diablo. So yeah, now they've hit the safety cars, they're all going to be about just slowing down, keeping behind the safety car, and this is going to be, I think, a fantastic few, sort of potentially last sort of 8 to 10 laps towards the end of the race. I think it's anybody's game. Pinecone is now back in position again, and he's got the fresher tyres, so it's a great opportunity for him as well. And you know, you've got Sarah Rosberg now in 5th. He's on you know, good tyres as well. But Saira, I think, might be a little bit worried because he's on older softs. And of any of the soft runners, he's actually on the oldest set. Because he pitted that a little bit earlier, didn't he? I think it's going to be a fascinating end for the race. And it's all about who can keep their tyres in shape. And at the moment, you've got to say that Pinecone's looking in pretty good order. Trying to attack Saira here. But yeah, looking at things, you know, ILR Black at the moment, Joe's now down in 7th place, but he'll be on he's top super soft runner now, so he's going to be strong towards the end on the faster compound. So expect him to be making some good moves towards the end of the field. So I think we're in for a quick end of the race. But WORLCRA in terms of Leopard, he's back in things again. Safety car's going to help him a little bit because he was so far back after that incident earlier on at the car section that he had. So he's going to be back in sort of contention. VSR Red, you got obviously Saira and Infamous right now. He's currently in 10th place, and Saira is obviously leading the race. So VSR Black team looking pretty good. And then you got FORL, Top Tom and Tom's Battlers. Obviously Battlers is not here, unfortunately, but Top Tom's still out there currently. He's currently in 6th, so you've got to score some good points for them at the moment as things stand. But then RFL, Danny F1 and F31 and Flying Rozzy. Flying Rozzy down in 14th and Danny F31 in 8th, so they'll score some points as well. But TSRL, Kitchen Gamer and CRJ, Zelchi isn't here, I don't believe. But Kitchen Gamer's out, so they won't score any points. And the ERL boys, I mean, Roz is out there in 13th, but Myro isn't here. So I think, you know, look, it's going to be a good day, I think. At the moment, as things stand for WORLCRB, they're looking the strongest of all the teams who are competing. They're looking the strongest at the moment. But anything can change. This final few laps of the race, the final 10 or so laps we're going to have left to play with, I think it's going to be fascinating to see because those super soft runners are going to be absolutely rapid towards the end. And I think we're going to have a great old battle for P1 in the initial early phases. Particularly between Saira, Pinecone, and Holland potentially as well. They're going to have a great old battle, and even more so, and Rosberg could get in the action if things happen. But behind, we're going to have a very fast Joe who's going to be coming through, and also LCL Leopard. Watch out for those two boys because they're going to be coming through as much as they can to score the best points possible. And Joe would want to try and get on that top step. He wants to be on the top step of the podium. It is possible for anybody, I think. This race has been blown wide open for everybody. It's going to be fascinating to see. I wonder if the City Car is going to come in. The lights haven't gone out on the City Cars, but it does go out quite late on the lap. Obviously, Joe's looking for his 4th race win of the season, but it looks like we might have a different race winner as things stand, which would be, I think everybody would be absolutely thankful for because like Joe was sprinting away with it, but City Car seemingly is in this lap, so we're going to get 9 more laps of racing to go. Let's see how things go. It's Saira who leads the pack. They're always going to be bunching them up, trying to get the best getaway as possible into Town 1, and he'll be trying his absolute best. Just keep hold of P1. It's going to be a tough task here, and it's all about where you time to go. All very bunched up. Pinecone's trying his absolute best to try and get this race going, and he wants to get away quickly as possible. Saira is just backing them all up, and this is going to be a fantastic, thrilling line. He has gone, I think, round about now, has he? He has gone, so here we go. We're racing once again here in Baku, and let's see who is going to be into Town 1. Here comes Pinecone in the slipstream, goes to the right hand side. Is he going to make the move stick round the outside? Surely not. He's going to try it, but he hasn't been able to pull it off. But look at that. Holland's trying his absolute best as well with Jake Pass. But look at this. Wheel to wheel between the Ferrari and the Haas driver. Up the turn 2 once again. Here comes Pinecone in the slipstream. He's trying to do everything he can. No DRS at the moment, but he's been using all the ERS he can do as possible. Goes to the right hand side. He's going to try his absolute best. Round the outside, can he go around the outside? He's going to break as late as he can, but who breaks later? Saira breaks later, and Saira keeps hold of first place, and that is a tense first few corners for Saira, and importantly, he has maintained position at this point, but Pinecone is looking for any opportunity possible. He's going to put Saira under as much pressure as possible, because he wants that first place. But behind, look at that. Everybody's so close behind them. Rosberg's down to 4th place ahead of Joe, but Joe is making a move on Rosberg on the inside. And there we go. Joe into 4th place. He's made some absolute moves done. It's 3 moves in the space of a few sectors for Joe. And he's mounting a challenge on Holland now. So Joe is coming up quickly. And he's going to be back on the podium soon as well. Look at that. Pinecone is on the pressure from Holland there because he made a mistake seemingly. So here comes Holland. Look at Joe on the inside. No, he does not. He thinks better of it because it's not an opening opportunity. But Pinecone is under some immense pressure. Holland's right behind him, so he needs a good exit here. But Joe, looking the more favourable driver, gets a better exit on those fresher super softs. He looks to the inside, but again backs out of it. He wants to get a good run. He's going to get a very good toe out this corner here. So here comes Joe in the slipstream of Holland. He'll get a double toe from Pinecone as well. So here he comes. Here comes McLaren driver in the slipstream of both these boys. Who's it going to be? Is Holland going to get the opportunity? But look at Sarah. Sarah's defending. Holland's going to go to the right hand side. It's Joe on the inside. He's going to get a better run on the inside of Holland. Here he comes on the inside of turn 2. He's made that move stick on those super soft tyres. And it's Joe into 3rd place. And at this point, you've got to think Joe is favourite for this race when he's on the fresher tyres, the younger tyres, and he's on the softer compound. And Joe's looking superb at this point of the race. Pinecone now under some severe pressure from Joe. Joe is looking for an opportunity, but it's not easy at this point. But he'll get a better traction. He's not going to go for the all-out risk. He doesn't need to take risks. He knows he's got the faster car. He's got the faster tyres on him. He's got the younger tyres. He doesn't need to take any risks. He just needs to hook it up. He looks to the inside. He feints to the inside, almost Alonso-esque, kind of trying to make his opponent afraid, trying to make him bottle on the pressure. Through the car section we go. It's all very close. It all closes up. He's a good exit through here, which he does try and do. And he gets an alright exit here. So Pinecone once again under some severe pressure. And you expect better from Pinecone. He's on the fresh tyres in comparison to Syra. Syra has managed it very well. But Joe, look at that. It looks to the inside. Reynolds retired from the race. Is that going to be another safety car? We don't know. It might not be called. I don't think it has been called. So at the moment, they're still racing around for a bit. But here comes Joe. Closes up for the last of the corner. He's in the slipstream of Pinecone. Here he goes. In the slipstream. Will he have DRS this lap? He might have it, but I don't think. I think it's lap too early. But once again, he looks so quick. He's in that slipstream. He's using the ERS he's got. Here he comes. He can get a little bit of a double toe as well because Cyber's close to Pinecone. Here we go. Slipstream. All the ERS he can do is deploy as much as he can. Down to turn 1. Can he make this one stick? DRS is enabled. Joe breaks a little bit later around the outside of turn 1. Has he made it stick? Has he done it? Has he done it on the inside? It's Pinecone on the inside, and Pinecone lets him have that. He knows that it's not worth fighting. Joe's on the faster compound, and Joe is in now into 2nd place, chasing after Syra. What a turn of events, and we kind of knew this. You know, Joe looking superb on those super soft tyres, the younger tyres, and you know he's the man to beat. I think he's the man in form, and he's looking for his 4th straight win this season. And you have to say he's looking fantastic for that. But bear in mind, he's on those super softs. They do wear out quicker as well. So it's going to be good for them, but those super softs do wear out quicker. So it's a good opportunity, but it's whether or not he can bolt away quick enough before Syra can actually catch back up. But Syra has got those. He's got the oldest softs out there. So even if the super softs of Joe's run out towards the end of the race, it'll probably be minimised because Syra won't be able to do anything about it. But once again, Joe closes up big time. He's got so much more grip than the Haas driver, and he's going to be sizing him up. He's going to have a great opportunity in the DRS. So through the final corner we got, and now through this flat-out section of rights, lefts, and Joe's going to be hooking it up now. He's closing so much now in the slipstream. Going to do everything he can. He has a little bit of ERS to use as well. So here he comes, slipstream, DRS, and everything he has from the McLaren. He's going to be deploying as much as he can. DRS now. It's a great opportunity for the McLaren driver. He goes to the right-hand side of Syra, and he's made that look very easy indeed. Syra does not battle him at all. And there we go. Joe's into P1, and he's going to be trying to switch his legs now on those super soft tyres. A great move from Joe, and a great strategy call, you have to say. You know, he risked it. He risked track position, and he's shown that overtaking around here is absolutely possible. We just need to make sure that Syra doesn't take him back on the DRS, but I'm sure he won't do. And Joe he's kept himself in P1 for now, and he's going to try and stretch his legs now in the McLaren, get away, importantly. But yeah, I'm surprised by Pinecone. I expected him on the younger softs to get past Syra in the earlier stages, but that hasn't happened. And it just shows how much good, sort of the pace that Syra's got. Danny's now in 4th, and now Holland's in 5th. Story Rosberg's now in 6th place, and it looks like that Holland's stretched the gap a little bit. And also, I think you got to make note of Danny F31. I think he's closing up on Pinecone now. He's on the Super Soft too. He's in the prime. He's got a prime opportunity for a podium here as well. So he could be a surprise podium finisher here too. And it'd be a good for IFL. They're currently going to score some good points for Danny if things work out brilliant for him. And he wants to get a good exit. He's really up on his personal best, so he's looking pretty rapid now. He's a little bit behind Pinecone, but what Pinecone needs to make sure he does is keep within DRS of Syra. But Syra is kept within DRS of Joe. Joe hasn't bolted, and he might be on the threat here if he's not running at the ERS capacity he needs to. So here we go, on board with Syra, but he's just too far back really, and Joe just fussed up the race, 40.608, so pretty good up by him. But once again, it's all pretty close now as Top Tom and Rosberg are battling away, and Rosberg's trying to fight back on Top Tom. But no, looking like that Rosberg's really struggling now in that Toro Rosso, and he seems to go backwards and then go forwards again. So Rosberg in the slipstream and DRS of the Williams driver looks to the inside. Does it? Look at Leopard trying to go for a move on Rosberg. He's desperate. He's in 8th place right now. He's looking for a move as well. He's going to be coming through the field too. So you never know. He might be on for a fantastic recovery drive here. It's so tight for the chicane, so again, Leopard's going to have the better tyres. And again, at this point, just can't make anything stick, and the car selection is definitely not overtaking an opportunity. So through we go, Rosberg taking it very gentle indeed. I think he struggled particularly through this section. Again, Leopard not all over the back of Rosberg at this point. Again, he's just trying to buy his time probably. But meanwhile, up front, Joe has broken that gap of the DRS, 1.2 seconds. So he's bolted away to try and just bridge that gap. We're in the final 5 laps of this race now to go, and it is all still on. Everything is not it's not finished yet. This race is definitely not finished. Leopard right again in the slipstream of Sarah Rosberg here. It's going to be an opportunity for him surely in the DRS. So here he comes in the slipstream, and he'll have the DRS around about. Actually, he might even get past him before the DRS. Here he comes. It hits DRS nicely, and that will be him into P7 ahead of Sarah Rosberg, who won't really put up much of a fight, I don't think, into turn 1. And Rosberg lets him have it and just tries to keep hold of those points that he's got currently. But Leopard, well on his way, he's got Top Tom ahead of him, so that could be one to watch too. Pinecone and Syra are battling away. There's 3 tenths between those two, so that could be a fight to watch as well. Once again, Leopard close behind Top Tom, and he's going to try and score as many points for WORLCRA as possible, because at the moment he is looking good. For some good points and a good recovery drive, I think, because he was down the order in the earlier phases after that spin at the car section, like we mentioned earlier on, and he's looking for a good. I think this set of cars really helped him out, and it's what he's absolutely needed. Again, Leopard closing up through the double right-hander up to the car section once again. Up we go. He's all very close to that Williams driver, keeping him very honest. Very close behind him now, so through the fast left-hander, he needs to hook this one up because he's going to have a good opportunity now, and also Rosberg will be under pressure from Jork 94, so it is going to be very close there for that battle for 8th place. So these 2 battles are ones to watch, but also Pinecone ahead and Asara could be one to watch as well, as Joe is legs at 1.6 seconds a gap. So now Leopard all over the back of Top Tom here. So let's see, in the slipstream and the DRS now, he's closing up big time. Let's see what he can do. Into he goes, he's slipstreamed all the way, and that is going to be 6th place, done and dusted, and Top Tom won't even fight back. And Rosberg behind is fighting with Jork. Jork tries to get around the outside, he's going to try around the outside. He has done it, I think, on the outside, but look at that, Rosberg's on the inside. Rosberg try everything he can against Jork, but look at that, Jork on the superior line, gets a better exit. And he is now into 8th place ahead of Sarah Rosberg. And Flying Rossi is in 10th place. And he's battling with Morso, who's absolutely gone backwards in this race. I think he'll be very disappointed with that, because he was looking very good. And Morso's down into 11th and on very old softs. And I think it's not looking good for the Red Bull driver at this point in time. Going back up the order, Danny F31. He's behind this group here, and his tyres, his super softs probably will start wearing a little bit here. He's probably not he's not in the best window, but he's close behind these two, and it is definitely a chance for the Force India driver, for RFL. Once again, Pinecone very close to Syrah, so you could argue Syrah is a little bit of a traffic jam here. It's a three-way battle for P2 in this race. After the last corner once again. Got a good run. This is going to be tight to watch. So, there we go. All these three going into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top here? It's close between all of them. They're all sort of within half a second of each other. So, here we go. It's not the best opportunity. We're seeing again, within half a second, it's not a great opportunity to get past, because the DRS isn't that affected here, and he's not close to that much. Syrah again keeps in second place, doing everything he can to stay where he is right now. And Invers is down in 13th place, and not looking good for the other, not looking good for his teammate from VSR Red. Once again, Danny looking close as well, and they're all very close at this point. Meanwhile, in the background, I think it's Flying Rossi and Morso battling away. Look at this. Morso looks to the inside here. Is he going to make this move stick up the inside? He's going to go for it on the inside. You know what? He's got that move done. It's Morso into 10th place ahead of Flying Rossi and takes that point away. But Flying Rossi looks to the inside. Does he? No, he doesn't. So CRGA Morso is into the final points paying position for now. And he'll be pretty happy with that. But he's a far way back from Sarah Rosberg. So in terms of getting DRS, he's going to be under threat down that back straight again, isn't he? Because he's just not going to be close enough. So Top Tom and Jork are battling away. And Sarah Rosberg's staying with them for now. So Sarah Rosberg has potentially got a chance still if he can keep with them. But let's go back to the top 3. Particularly the top of 2, 3 and 4. That's our main battle, because Joe has gone and he'll be starting his penultimate lap anytime soon. But look at these three, they're all closed up, and Danny F31 is looking very strong actually on those super softs. You would have thought they probably would have given up, but you know what, he's pretty close here. But Pinecone's close on Syrah, and he is closing up. He's closing and closing and closing into turn 1. Here he goes to the inside. He flicks to the inside. And CRG Pinecone's on the inside. And he's got that move done in second place. But has he? Has Syrah got the cutback? He looks to the inside, but he's just too far back. And Danny F31 is looking very quick now. And you've got to say, maybe Syrah's tyres have expired at this point, because he's looking a little bit vulnerable here, Syrah. But so is Pinecone. Pinecone's not looking good either. But Syrah is too far back to make any sort of impression to that corner. It's so tricky to make a move done. But Danny F31's looking for any opportunity. Look at that. Syrah's going really deep now. And look at this. It's a best opportunity for Danny F31. He's round the outside. Is he round the outside of the chicane? He's going to try and go around the outside. He's going around the outside on the inside. And Danny F31 is into third place with a fantastic move on Syrah. He saw the opportunity. He sees the opportunity. And he's now into the final podium position here, Baku. And what a great move from the Force India driver. But that's enabled Pinecone to sprint away now. And that's probably the perfect scenario for Pinecone, because that means he can just kind of get it home in second place, and deliver the podium and not get in any sort of battles. But I think we're going to have a battle between Syrah and Danny, because Syrah will not give that up. He'll be fuming with himself. He went deep there. It's an easy mistake to make into that corner, and Syrah is going to try and attack back as quick as he can, because this is, you know, he's got a good gap to the people behind. So it's not over yet. Syrah through these flat out right, left, so we're starting to enter our final lap here. Look at that, Syrah's got a great overspeed here. He's going to have an easy move on Danny F31, and he's got that move done and dusted, but even before the DRS zone. So here he comes. Danny F31 is in the deception once again of Syrah. He goes to the inside. Oh no, he doesn't. He takes him out. And there's a massive crash between the two of them, and they've both lost their front wings. And that means that CRGA Holland is going to be on the podium here, because the top two, these two have absolutely damage themselves into the next corner. They're struggling so much with understeer here, and they're trying to ghost here, but here comes CRG Holland. It's his best opportunity for a podium here. Absolute drama in the final lap of the race here, and CRGA Holland, has he got into third place? He has, and absolute incredible scenes in the last final lap of the race as Syra and Danny make contact, and it looked like a Verstappen Ricciardo from 2018, as it almost looked like Danny was faking it to the inside, and you know what, Syra saw it coming, and it's like, it's an unnecessary move to make in the final lap when you're on for a good podium. Massive scenes there, and that means that Holland's going to be in third, and Leopard makes a great recovery dive in fourth place, because he's going to be ending up from where he was down the order in fourth, and it's incredible, because that means that WOR LCRA are going to score better points. What an incredible turn of events. So here comes Joe now, round the final corner, and you know, Pinecone's close, but might not be close enough to make a move. Joe is looking good here. He made the right strategy calls, and he pitted on the safety car, and it's been the right strategy for the McLaren driver, and he's done a superb job. What a great race this has been, and it's going to be, oh my god, it's Joe, for the fourth time this season in URC, scores the victory here for McLaren, and again for ILR Black, and it's Pinecone in second place, CRGA Holland takes the podium, ahead of LCR Leopard in fourth. He'd be pretty pleased with that recovery. Syra in fifth place in the end. He'll be disappointed and will be wondering after that result there, and he'll be absolutely annoyed as he's gone topsy-turvy after that. But that has been your race of Baku. What an absolute dramatic final lap there between Syra and Danny F31, and we thought, you know, that wouldn't happen, but it's happened, and we'll definitely see probably on social media, on Twitter, between those two, what exactly happened there. But it looked like to me that it was Danny F31 trying to fake to the inside. But your race winner for the fourth time this season is, oh my god, it's Joe. And a fantastic strategy once again. A great call on the safety car, putting on those super soft tyres. Absolutely what the treat for his fourth race of the season. He's doing ILR Black. Super proud. Carol Limitless isn't here this race, but Joe scored maximum points for them. Again, I think Leopard and Pinecone will be super happy with second and fourth. I think for WOR LCRA, it looked like a point that they were going to gain at the earlier stages after Leopard crashed out in that car section. It looked all over, but you know, there you go. That's your final results. Joe in first place, fourth race of the season, fourth win of the season. Pinecone in second place, CRGA Holland in third, LCR Leopard in fourth, fifth place for VSR Syra, sixth place for Top Tom 53, seventh for CRGA and Warsaw, eighth for Flying Rozzy, and ninth for Sarah Rosberg getting 2 points, and VSR Infamous in 10th. ERL Roz 33 in 11th, Jork 94 in 12th. Danny F31 in 13th, EVR Reynolds in 14th, VSR Verstappen in 15th, Ollie 44 for Smithson in 16th, and KJ Gamer 7th in 17th of the last of the DNFers. That has been your lot. Let's get the top three into the party and get their reaction after that great finish. I won't lie, my voice is absolutely knackered after that, after the commentating alone, after Diablo went, and I think he had connection issues in the end. So let's get them into the party. You alright, mate? Good race. Alright, boys. Congrats to all three of you. Good stuff. Make sure to include the audio, and then we'll get the podium interviews underway. Okay. Oh my god, it's Joe. Fourth race of the season, fourth win of the season. I mean, mate, things are going to plan, aren't they? How was that for you?
Yeah, they are going to plan. Quite exceeding my expectations. I did not expect to win this race. especially after realizing qualifying I'd set my car up completely wrong. It was good in the middle sector, but in qualifying alone, I was losing about 3 tenths in the last sector, which is just on that back straight, and it was that bad in the race. So yeah, I was a dog in the straight line, so I was just gonna be happy with third in the end. But then when I saw the safety car come out, I was actually quite shocked that Pinecone did pit as well with me. And that was really my opportunity to take the win. Yeah, and I took it with both hands.
I mean, that was a great strategy to switch over to super soft tyres. I mean, you came flying through the field from, I think you were in P7 after the stops, after the safety car. I mean, um, were you at all worried getting through the field, or, was the superior grip outweighing the top speed that you had?
Um, yeah, the grip at the start of when the safety car went out, the grip compared to the other guys was insane. Like, I was just so much quicker than them in like literally everywhere. The tires did die off towards the end, which wasn't great. I could kind of feel it coming with the last few laps to go, and then yeah, so Pinecone got like .7 of me. But yeah, it was just enough, and yeah, not really much bad.
Yeah, it's good stuff as well. I mean, in regards to the Constructors' Championship, I mean, obviously, ILR Black, we obviously, your teammate wasn't here for this race, but it means that you're still kind of you're maintaining that top of the standings whilst JD's away. I mean, how good is that as a result for you and for the team as well?
Yeah, with JD not here, it's literally all I could do. Um, I got maximum points for the team with only having one driver, so yeah, pretty good. Hopefully he's back next week and we can get a few more.
Yeah, congratulations, mate, on a great victory and a great race by you. On to the next person, CRG Pinecone, second place, mate. Was probably pretty much their all race, weren't you, mate? How was that for you?
It wasn't that bad, but I mean, it's of course ideally I'd want the 25 points. We haven't got 25 points, so I'm not exactly over the moon. Yeah, of course it all just came down to that safety car in the middle of the race. I should have pitted for supers. It was the obvious thing to do, really, but yeah, it was just at, at the time I was just more thinking about, right, let's get the fuel down into lean. Let's again bring the ERS down into low. I wasn't really even thinking about tyre strategy, and then I saw a big gap behind me. I thought, right, should I pit for supers or not? But I was pretty much already past the pit entry by then, so yeah. But it was the obvious thing to do. But yeah, obviously staying on the soft tyres, and of course being the soft tyres, they're horrible to try and warm up after the safety car comes in. The softer tyres, not only you got more grip, but they warm up much more easily. The harder tyres are much more stubborn to do that. And then yeah, so I could already see on the mini-map Joe flying through the field on the restart. I knew it was coming from then. But yeah, I do think there was still an opportunity though to win that race. I think myself, I didn't execute the second half of that race perfectly. Cirrus seemed to be very, very slow on the restart. I think he must have really struggled with tyre temps. But he was very quick in the straight line. There was one lap where I definitely could have got past him into turn one, but while I was sitting behind him, I was just trying to save ERS, when in reality I should have got past him because I think Joe started to struggle towards the end of the race. So I think if I got past Cyril one lap earlier, I really could have had a crack maybe on the run to the line because it was only 7 tenths as it was. But yeah, bit of a pit strategy error, bit of a driving error in the second stint. Yeah, 18 points I suppose. Not what I wanted, but it'll do.
Yeah, I mean, I think from our end, it looked like an alright strategy to stay out on the softs because you were on fresher softs in comparison to Syra. So I kind of expected you to make a move on Syra, but as you mentioned, the top speed that he had was insane. Was it quite frustrating behind him, would you say?
Yeah, it was very, very frustrating because, as you said, very high top speed, very low downforce setup, I imagine, from Sarah. I already knew in qualifying that he was running a low downforce setup because my last sector was perfect. The exit I got off 16 was amazing, and I was 2 tenths down on him in sector 3. So I already knew he was running low downforce, but yeah, I was just too conservative, like through like the double left-hander after Castle. I was right up behind him, and I'm thinking, right, let's just save ERS here, when really I should have been just keeping right there, and that move would have been made. I honestly think if I'd made that move then, I think I could have at least challenged for the win on the track. But hey, yeah, you can't win them all, I suppose. And it's not a bad result for us, P2. Of course, Holland getting third as well for the Red Bull team. So yeah, it's not too bad of a day for us, I suppose, as a team.
Yeah, and also I think your teammate Leopard for LCR WRA came in fourth in the end. He obviously was in. I think he crashed out earlier on in the car section, didn't he? I mean, a good recovery drive from him as well to bring home some good points and close up on ILR Black too, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that safety car definitely brought him back into play because he was then able to go on the super soft and yeah, as you said, a 2-3-4. Yeah, a 2-4 for WRA. So I don't know what the gaps are like, but it's a long season. It's 21 races over 2 games. So yeah, I mean at the moment it's looking very good for ILR Black, but we just got to stick in there and just keep getting the consistent points, and over the course of the season, hopefully it will come to us.
Awesome, mate. Good race once again, and we'll hopefully see you next time out for another battle for the win, hopefully. Now, on to CRGA Holland, third place, and going into the last lap, it didn't look like it was going to be third place, did it? But unfortunately, Syra and Danny F31 had other ideas. How happy are you with that podium, mate?
Well, I'm chuffed with it, to be honest. I bottled quali, so I was happy where I was before the safety car, just sat in P4. And then safety car came out. I probably should have picked for the supers like Joe did, just to have a bit of a chance of getting high up on the grid. But yeah, I can't really complain with the P3.
And also, again, you know, we mentioned earlier, about WOR, LCR. B, obviously, scoring all right points. I mean, more so didn't finish high up. I think he finished in 7th place in the end, didn't he? So, again, good points on the board. But, obviously, that's pretty good going forward for you guys as well in terms of challenging for that top 3 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good for us. More so just struggled with heating up the tyres as we went from the safety car restart. But until then, we were pretty equal on pace. So we should have been up with close to me, but unfortunately just struggled on the safety car restart. But yeah, still really good points for the team.
Indeed, mate. Yeah, congratulations once again, and you picked up the pieces when it mattered, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, felt like Sergio Perez at Baku.
That was, I don't know what happened. I got it on the stream, but whatever happened between Danny and Syra, it was weird. It was strange. It reminded me of Ricardo and Verstappen in 2018. It was stupid. It was really odd, but God. Anyway, congrats to all three of you for a good race at Baku, and it was an awesome race to commentate over. And I got to thank URC for bringing me back for the one race after Ollie couldn't make it for commentary. So I hope I wasn't too bad because Diablo actually did disconnect halfway through, so I had to commentate on my own, unfortunately. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and we'll be back next week for Spain, I believe. So gonna be a interesting race there as well. So we'll check you next week for both Tier 2 and Tier 1 this time next week. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.